United States condemns in strongest terms the violence that's taking place there. But we hold the Ukrainian government primarily responsible for making sure that it is dealing with peaceful protesters in an appropriate way, that the Ukrainian people are able to assemble and speak freely about their interests without fear of repression.
All right, that was President Obama speaking earlier today about the deadly outbreak of violence in Ukraine. And today the streets of the capital city, Kiev, were still burning, although according to reports, the Ukrainian president and opposition leaders have now reached an initial truce. But I highly doubt that because of anything our commander-in-chief might have said, because his credibility on the world stage has taken such a big hit since taking office, particularly because he doesn't make good on his word. You may remember this baseless threat about Syria.
We have been very clear to the Assad regime, but also to other players on the ground, that a red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized. That would change my calculus. That would change my equation.
Well, didn't change it. Of course, the president later played down the importance of his so-called red line. So is this just one more example, the president leading from behind, and is that strategy responsible for fueling unrest in Ukraine, Syria, Venezuela, beyond? Joining us now, Fox News political analyst Juan Williams and the host of War Stories, Colonel Oliver North. All right, Juan, before I fight with you, I'm going to turn to Colonel North. I look at this, what's happening here, as Vladimir Putin literally taking Obama to the cleaners. And by that I mean from Syria, Iran, Egypt, the Middle East, the Ukraine, on every level, earlier Poland and the Czech Republic. And Putin literally is taken over and in areas where Russia was and the former Soviet Union were long gone.
And proof that the old axiom, into any vacuum, a leader will eventually come. Yeah. Putin has been handed this by what is essentially Jimmy Carter on steroids. If you could have imagined that someone is happy that Obama is president, it has to be Jimmy Carter, because he's no longer the worst president in our history. What Clinton has done, well, she had a part of this, but what Obama has done, Sean, is he has left us bereft of leadership in a part of the world where we desperately need to have it. Now, I'm the last person in the world that's going to advocate putting in American troops to quell the civil war that's occurring now in Kiev, like the civil war in Syria, like the civil war in Egypt. But it would have been nice to have had the credibility of being at least respected by our adversaries or admired by our allies, and we have neither as a consequence of his total failure of leadership.